Hello, welcome back to A World at War by GMT. Last time we had made it through basically just suffering and trying to learn the rules and going through the research and diplomacy tables. This time we'll hopefully resolve the rest of the Polish War, and then we're going to have to backtrack a little bit and actually follow the rules and deploy all the other forces, because we skipped France, Italy, Russia, and Britain. So we need to go back and deploy all of them. Obviously, we don't have to worry about China, US, or Japan. But what we're working on right now is the movement and combat phases. So what we're planning to do here is actually an overrun of the Polish front line. And so that takes us to section 13.5 in the rules. And the description is basically that overruns are an offensive operation that may only be conducted by armor and mechanized units. Overruns may take place during the movement phase of both regular and exploitation movement. Units being overrun are subject to both positive and negative DMs in the same manner of units being attacked. So DM is defensive modifier. And every unit gets a DM of +2, and that's just their base DM. And because the terrain is so favorable in Poland, as long as you're not attacking across a river, they're always going to have just a +2. So our basic plan is to just blow through the front lines, either cross into Lvov, or probably just go right across the San River, and then go up alongside the Bug River and attack Warsaw from what is basically the southeast hex. So the adjacent hex, which would be N35 if you're playing along. And I think that provides the most favorable opportunity to incur the least losses and to move the furthest. And hopefully to knock out Poland in turn 1. What you really don't want to happen is to have them go into turn 2, because then what happens is Britain, France, and the other allies can actually support Poland, and Poland kind of activates as a real country. And you don't really want to get into that, because if they do send over any more forces, it can really be a pain, and it'll delay your Russia invasion, which is what you don't want. Because Russia is going to be building up the whole time. So the mechanics of an overrun are conducted by moving no more than 2 armored or mechanized infantry through the same hex side into a hex containing enemy units at odds of 6-1 or greater. At least one of the overrunning units must be an armor unit, and both overrunning units must have a functional mechanized component. So luckily, we've got these bad boys here. The 41st Panzer Division and the 57th Panzer Division. And they're going to be rolling around from the basically from what used to be Czechoslovakia before we took it over, shall we say. And we're just going to be trying to run right through into probably into the hex across from them, which is P34. I don't know why some get P's and some get other letters. I'm not sure on that, but we want to hit them with both of our tank units to try and do this overrun here. I think I actually have some overrun markers. Maybe it's the breakthrough marker? I don't remember. They do have a marker for it, though. Well, we'll just use the breakthrough marker. So we'll throw down the breakthrough marker onto these guys here. You can see we're going to be fighting a single strength or single factor Polish unit named the Grodno Division. Oh, Grodno, sorry to the Poles out there. Didn't mean to mispronounce that. My Polish is about as good as my Russian. As you guys all know from War in the East, my Russian is not too hot. And we're also going to be committing an air factor to this, potentially multiple. But we're going to start with the ground support role, I think. I think air goes first, just like in War in the East. So we're going to throw all these guys down there. And now we need to figure out what dice we need to roll. So I believe that gives us better than 6-to-1 odds, because that's 8-to-3, and then when you add in the air factors, it's 12-to-3. And then we can also commit another plane to it. We have another 5 that we can throw in there. And so that adds another 5 onto our 12, which gives us 15-to-3. So we're getting closer, and then all we need to break it over to the 6-to-1 would be another 3. So luckily what we have is the 40th Panzer Division. And that's going to have to use up a couple of its movement points to get over there. But luckily it has 6, so this will now be down to 2 movement points to get into that combat. And the nice thing about overruns is you don't even have to roll anything, I don't think. So, oh, actually, I just broke the rule. I can't use this armored unit. I have to use an infantry unit. Yeah. I forgot about that. Okay, so we'll commit an infantry unit, so that's exactly 6-to-1 odds. Okay, so what we now want is so each overrunning unit must expend 1 additional movement point to occupy the overrun hex. If the units don't have sufficient movement points, then the overrun is prohibited. Units performing overruns may arrive at the hex from the overrun is being made from different locations. So you can do what we just did and walk over your infantry if you need to. And you can use sea transported, but no more than 2 armor units may move from a breakthrough hex into the same adjacent hex to conduct an overrun against enemy ground units. An overrun may be assisted by available offensive ground support, whether the overrun occurs during the movement or exploitation. So in war, a world of war, there's kind of 2 movement phases. You move initially to get to combat, but then you're allowed to move again, just like in War in the East, after you win a battle. So you can do what's called exploitation. And the only times you can't do that is if there's a bonded zone of if there's a zone of control that you can't move through. And that's only given by armor units. So if you break through and then there happens to be 2 tanks right next to each other, and you can't move through that hex, but otherwise you would be able to break through there. Um, so what can actually break an overrun, it says here in the rules, a failed overrun occurs if there are defensive air support arriving enough to reduce the odds below 6-1. And in that case, no overrun would occur. So the only other rules are we have to remedy the overstacking, because obviously we can only stack 2 in a hex, so we can't leave all of these guys here. Other units don't have to pay any movement cost to get through this hex. So I think I actually made a mistake initially with my deployments, but I mean, it's not a huge deal, I don't think. I think we should still be able to do this. Yeah, I think we should be able to do this. Okay, so we had 6-1 odds. And we've now expended 2 movement points for everyone except the infantry is stuck there. So the infantry has to now sit here. The overrun unit is destroyed. And now these breakthrough divisions can continue on. Our air becomes inverted. And actually we have to fly one of them back because he can't stay here. And now, so we started with 6 and we now have 4 more movement points. So in order to cross a river, let's see if that costs us any additional movement. And that's what I'm not sure about. Let's figure that out. Oh, actually, I could leave that. You have unlimited stacking with your air forces. Never mind. We're not really using attrition combat this turn. Well, so even if it did cost us an extra point, could we still make it? So we're at, if we were at 4-5, then we'd be at 6 and we couldn't make it in. So it actually does matter in this turn whether or not we have that. So we have to find the rule on movement, on terrain movement. So let's try to figure that out. Terrain effects on ground movement. 13.41C. I'm thinking it doesn't. I think it doesn't cost extra, unlike in ground units must expend an additional movement point to enter forest, jungle, mountain, or swamp hexes. But not to cross the river, ironically. So that's great. That means we can make it all the way up to Warsaw, and we're going to be fighting a battle between 2 panzer divisions and a single division this is a 2-factor infantry division from the Polish side. Okay, so now let's put them all there. So we got big battle here. This matters a lot for the Germans, obviously, because this is their big chance. Now we do have a backup plan. We can do a different overrun on the left, but it'll be a higher defensive modifier because we won't have the advantage of the river stuff. And we can also just bash them out of the way with regular combat if we had to. But this is the fastest way to end the war, so it'd be better to do it this way. As if Guderian himself is getting involved. All right, so determining defensive modifiers. Defensive strength is always equal to its printed, or attacking strength is always equal to the printed number. So we're attacking with 8. And then defensive strength is increased or decreased according to terrain. So a defending unit receives a positive +2 regardless of terrain. And then you can get some other buffs, none of which apply here. So that's great. We don't have any supply concerns. So now we're basically doing 8-4. So 2-1 odds. So we're rolling against this column of the chart here. And that means that when we roll our dice, it's not as good as what we could have if we had gone for a double breakthrough. Okay, so let's just roll our die. I'm just using a black die for this one. It's only one die to do. Just a simple attack. We rolled a 5. So a 5 gets us a result of a little d, which I don't see on here. Oh, defender loses half the number of defending factors, ignoring DMs. So he's down to a 1 now, basically. Wonder if there's any indicating pieces for that. I guess I'll just use one of these bad boys. So we did not successfully take Warsaw on that turn, unfortunately. But we did knock him down. We did knock him down by 1. So that's good. All right. What else could we do? All right, let's try another breakthrough here. See if we can get, so to get to 6-1 odds, we'll have to commit again all of these divisions here. So we're gonna have so that's 9. So 17 to 3. So we're 1 short. So I guess we'll commit our Air Force. That gives us enough for a breakthrough here. Oops. So we've broken through that division. Here, I'll just zoom us in quickly on this combat here. Can't really see if that's... This is kind of what it's looking like. Okay, for our ultimate resolution here, I decided to flip the video around. So this is the stack that it takes to do this overrun here. I don't know if I'm calculating these odds wrong or something. Stupid. But I mean, is 18 to 3 the same as 6 to 1? I don't know. I think that makes sense. So these guys all took 2 movements just to get into this hex. So they have 1 left. So what we can do with them is, just to be sure, we're gonna actually break this. I'm just gonna put that on them, remove the defending piece, just to get it out of there. Just to make sure we're not breaking any stacking rules, I'm gonna move one of them across the river here. Okay, so that gets us there. Oh my god, this is hard to pick up. I need those little tweezer things that you see people having. Okay, so this becomes inverted. I'll just stack that on top so I don't forget about it. And now we can take our 2 tanks, and we're gonna have to go right up the middle because of the stacking rules. And so he'll get an extra +1 from the river. But now he's down to a combat factor of 1. So he's only got 3 against 8. So that's slightly less than 3 to 1. So we have to roll against the 2 to 1 odds table again, which, as you see here, what we want is a 5 or a 6. Alternatively, we could be happy with an EX result if we have to. But a 5 or 6 is what we really want. And we roll a 1. Oh my god, that is the worst possible result. So we have An attacker loses a number of factors equal to half the modified value of the defender's units. So I assume rounding up, that would be 2. So we lose 2 off that mechanized unit. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to track these temporary losses, but I'm gonna use these little numbered markers here that you get with the game. So I hope this doesn't bother anyone's OCD, but I'm just yanking them out of here. Sorry. Where was it? Oh, this guy. So this guy is down to a 2. And then the one below him is still 4. So now the question is, can we attack again? I'm gonna feel really foolish if Poland holds out an extra turn. All right. Well, they're kind of weak up here, so why don't we just try smashing through this with these 2 hexes here? So that's 9 to 2, right? So those are pretty good odds. So that, I would say that rounds up to 5 to 1, right? So I think we're guaranteed to break through here. We get a 3, and that's just a kill. So we can get rid of this guy. And now for the exploit movement, advance after combat. Oh, additional rounds of combat. Hold on. A second round of ground combat. If after resolving the initial round of ground combat, both sides have 1 surviving unit, the attacker may abandon the attack or continue attacking a second time if allowed by his CTL 15.82A. 15.82A. CTL of 1 or less permits only 1 round of ground combat. CTL 2 round allows a second round. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so so I think we're at a 0, right? Yeah, we're at a 0 right now. So Project Kriegspiel should have been a little bit more successful for this to work out better. So I don't think we can do this then. They're gonna survive somehow. I mean, obviously we can move this here. I guess it's not the biggest deal in the world, but kind of annoying for sure. Definitely unexpected. Obviously, I didn't do something right, because I feel like this should have been way easier. Maybe I didn't do the overruns right or something like that. I don't know. A little surprised in that, though. This is our deployment. Pretty simple so far. We also get a couple of 2-3s. So we'll stack them down here. And we also get 1-3-3 infantry. So we want a nice strong army down here to try and just rush Egypt. Okay, we get 1 submarine and 2 SBPs. We're not sure what an SBP stands for. What does SBP mean? Let's find that. SBP. The first S is Scandinavia. I don't know. I have to hunt that one down, huh? No idea what an SBP would be. Well, we'll figure that one out and deploy it when I find it. No clue what it would be. But we can throw the submarine down at least. I think I already put those into the counter holder. Submarine. Hey. That's what subs look like. Pretty lame. Where can we base a sub? I guess Trieste? What about the rest of the Italian fleet? Maybe the fleets are done separately. Or maybe I have to build it. Oh, that's interesting. This is where our allowable builds are here. So we'll need that for next time. But I think I'll probably just throw up the French, Brits, and Russians right now. Figure out what the heck SBP means next time. And call it a night. I don't want to search for eternity here. I assume France is probably pretty easy to deploy. They get 5 Army air factors, 1 tank, one strength infantry, 14 2-3, so they get a lot of regular infantry. So we want to make sure we deploy them on the Maginot. 1, 2, 3. We would deploy our tank maybe in Paris, in reserve. And then just try to fill up the whole rest of the line. Which doesn't look that hard, to be honest. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. We'll probably buff that up with a few more next turn. Get our last 1-3 infantry unit in there at Marseille. We're just gonna probably sack that first tile there. If the Italians want it, they can have it. Okay, so that's what France is looking like. Oh, they're planes, that's right. They get 1 5 strength plane, which we will stick probably in Paris to be safe. Just to be safe. Stack them all up. So Paris, and then we SBP. Surface. What would SBP possibly mean? Why would they do that? I mean, it's something naval related, so it kind of narrows it down, I guess. But not enough for me to figure it out. I have to dig through the book to find it. Okay, so that's France. Let's crack out Russia and Britain, which I have in my box here. Russia's obviously red, Britain's kind of a brown color. And both Britain and Russia have a lot of counters. I mean, that's just one thing of Britain. This is the rest. So they've got a ton. Just because their navy is so huge. And they also have like Commonwealth forces. All right, so let's do Russia next. They've got 11 army air factors. So let's just snag up 11. 6. Ooh, gotta clip that one. 9. Get 11, please. Oh, there's an air transport. Do they get any? No, they do not. We need air base. I want to find all their air bases. Oh, here we go. That'll be 11. Put that one back since it's not clipped properly. This game is already starting to get big. It's just an absolute space eater. Okay, so 11 army air factors, 4 3-5 tanks. So I can start just trying to do some sort of organization to these. Okay, got 2 tanks. Hopefully all the tanks are stacked together. Oh, a 4-5 tank. Don't think they get any of those off the start. Another 4-5. flak. There's another 3-5 tank. We need 4. So, gotta find one more. Trying to get the infantry out when I find them, because I assume we're going to be deploying a lot of infantry as well. You can see why I didn't do this already. It's a pain to go through all your little pieces. Just going to start trying to organize them. It's airborne. Maybe keep them separate. Air Force in there. Keep the partisans separate. We're getting through it. 5-6 tank. Don't think we have any of those at the start either. That would be like a Stalin tank, I assume. Like a kind of a late war tank division. Featuring heavy tanks, medium tanks, everything. The joys of playing physical board games. Having to actually like finagle your pieces around. I mean, I do enjoy them. It's just, it's a lot more work to play a big war game in real life instead of on the computer. It's rewarding, but like when you finally get it going, it's really beautiful to watch. It's just getting to that point is such a pain. Guess they can get rockets at some point. Don't know if we'll bother with rockets. I'd rather have more infantry. At least that's what I play in Risk, or not Risk, Axis and Allies. I do enjoy a game of Axis and Allies every once in a while, which is, I used to think it was really complicated, but nowadays I think it's really simplistic. Oh, I found it. 3-5. So that's our 4-3-5. And we need 11 1-3s, 5 2-3s, and 4 3-3s. So we got the 4 3-3s already here. 4. I need 11 1-3s. Don't think we need any of the other tanks. So we'll put the tanks in here for now. We'll just get the 1-3s out. Such a good game, though. I really think that this is going to be a great game. I'm just looking forward to really getting into the nitty-gritty of it, because I really do think it's going to be like a physical Hearts of Iron, which is incredible to think about. Because there's just so many great things about Hearts of Iron, but you need to melt your computer for them sometimes. So I'm excited to be able to play Hearts of Iron without a computer while my itch for wargaming doesn't go away just because my computer's broken. But I might also do another war game while we're kind of in this weird situation, not having a computer and having to do these janky ass recordings. I think I might end up doing another video of like a naval war game of some sort. Not sure what rule. I was thinking Sea Creek maybe. Getting that going, because I've been interested in playing that for a long time. I've never cracked that out either. I don't actually own it. I don't own the physical copy anyways, so I'd have to print it out or play it on a tablet or something like that. But I've been interested in it for a while. So I just need one more 1-3. Maybe I can find them in here. There we go. Found them. And how many 2-3s? 5 2-3s? 1. 2. The only thing about magnetizing pieces is they can be a little bit tricky to like move around in the box, like when you're looking for things. But I think it is a nice little feature to have, and they're very satisfying to put down. That's the thing I like the best about it. It's like they sound really beefy when you clack them down, you know. It sounds almost like a computer game where it has that kind of a click when you put something down, which is not the normal experience for a hex and counter game. It's normally more like no sound at all, but I enjoy the slightly louder sound of the metallic magnetic ones. So, I mean, I'm glad I bothered to do it. It's a huge pain in the butt to do, because you gotta snip out little bits of the wire of the magnetic tape, rather, to stick to the back of them. And then you gotta peel the magnetic tape off the back of every single one. It was very tedious. Almost as tedious as setting this up. Okay, I think that's everything, except for the SBP. Would love to know what an SBP is. Oh, I had 2 more. Guess didn't even see those there. All right, so where did the Russians want to deploy? I guess we have to kind of deploy our strongest troops here. God, that's a long border. I guess I'm not 100% sure. I guess we would own the Baltics, right? So our border would be more like this right now. Not sure if you can move in that hex or not. That's kind of an ugly border. And then we need 1 in Leningrad, a couple up here defensively. We'll have our air bases be in Kiev and Smolensk, I think. Just base everything there. Oh, we need one more airbase. Forgot. the little bugger. I think Russia will be it for the night, though. We'll do Russia and then we'll call it a night. Maybe I'll do Britain off camera. There's the last airbase. The last airbase we want is probably like Sevastopol, maybe, or maybe Riga. We'll start a guy in Riga. Okay. So that's Russia deployed. Okay, so our final look at all of our deployments that we've done tonight. This is post Poland. We're starting to set these guys up. Next video we'll deploy Britain, and then we'll move on with production. And we'll see where that takes us. Until next time, see ya. So with the combat pretty much resolved, we did our little movement after combat. Obviously, we advanced into the hex where we eliminated that unit, so that's fine to do. We would not be able to do that if we were breaking through with tanks. I think what I should have done is I think I should have stacked up the tanks kind of one behind the other, and that would have allowed me to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I should have come in kind of from the Breslau hex and just crossed over there. So you live and you learn. We'll do that next time we play. But I mean, it's not really a huge deal if you don't beat them in the first turn. A little humiliating, I suppose. So we move forward. You can also do breakthroughs against undefended hexes. Now, what I do want to make sure is I think I'm gonna back off, because now we have the issue of we didn't get it done in one turn. So we have a couple of units isolated, but the one in Lvov is not one of them. So now the Poles are going to get to go, and we'll see how their combat ends out. So we're immediately jumping into the multi-turn rules here. I was hoping for something a little easier, to be honest, while we were learning the game. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. All right. Very cool. I wonder if this would work. So we could actually move from East Prussia. So that would be 1, 2, 3. We can get one more attack in with just 3 to 2 odds. So that would be 2 to 1 rounding up. So we could do one more attack, and all we have to roll is a 2 or better. which we get a 2. So a 2 gives us a result of EX, which means that the side with fewer combat factors, taking into account the defender's DM, loses its entire force. The larger side removes at least an equal number of factors. So yeah, it wipes down our infantry down to a 1, but at least it ends the war for now. So that does eliminate this division, although these guys obviously fought back quite hard, knocking out half of a panzer division and 2/3 of an infantry division. So absolute heroes here. But that does obviously wipe that out, and that now enables a tank division to just roll into Warsaw and capitulate them. So the infantry pulled through in the end. So everyone else will surrender, I assume. I'll have to look up the rules on surrender itself, but that's pretty much the end of the war, I would imagine. Now, let me just make sure on that. Let's say we find surrender. Let's see, surrender of minor powers. That's what we're looking for. Of course, they don't have that under the word surrender. Maybe it's under minor powers. $82.61. Surrender. Associated minor countries and minor allies surrender on a oh, that's just for diplomatic roles, though. Conquest of minor countries. Conquest by control of capital, which is what we have here. Minor countries are conquered if their capitals are under enemy control at the end of the attacker's combat phase. The minor country does not get one turn to try to recap. So they're done. Poland is done. And you can't build partisans afterwards. Okay, so I believe it's that war done. So Poland was conquered in less than one turn, which is great. Definitely simplifies things for us. So now the post-turn effects are going to be a little bit important to note, because obviously we took some losses, so we have to replace those losses, because this 3 went down to a 1, obviously, and our 2 went down to a 2, or our 4 went down to a 2. But at least we got it done. So not the cleanest. Took some heavy losses, but those are probably easily replaced. So post-movement or post-combat, what do we do as the Axis? Boom, boom. So post-combat, we deduct BRPs for strategic bombing, enemy partisans, and the loss of controlled BRPs. We remove conquered minor country units, which we just did. For sea supply, we don't need to worry about that yet. We eliminate unsupplied units, airbase counters. Don't have anything out of supply because we can trace our supply back to our capital, the simplest form of supply. And then we move into the unit construction phase. So what do we do about our inverted planes? That's what I'm wondering. I look for inverted. All right. Well, we'll figure that out in the redeployment phase. I guess that there is a whole phase for it. So let's do our unit construction phase for the Axis. And before we do that, let's see. Not sure what time we're at here because I've been chopping up this video so I can flip the screen. But let's deploy Italy while we're here. Deploy Italy, France, and Great Britain just to get them on the map. Okay, so we need the record sheet. Bad boy. Oh, and Russia. Got to deploy Russia as well. Okay, so oh my God, did I just start writing in the wrong section? I think I might have. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. I think that's just two different sections here. Okay, so Italy starts with 1 naval air, 5 army air factors, and 1 NAT. That's naval air transport. So let's find those for them. How many air factors did I say? 5. So I guess we give them a 4 and a 1. 4 4 and a 1. And I guess for now we'll base them in Rome and Tripoli. Kind of makes sense, I guess. I guess we could throw one in Benghazi or something eventually, but we can always rebase them anyways once the war gets going. What the hell does a naval air transport look like? I mean, I know that these little guys are naval air. So we want one of these. And they have to be in a port, I assume. So we'll start them there. We'll throw their air base down and those two, Rome and Tripoli. And then we'll apply their rest of their army. So they have one mechanized. We'll use the Ariete division. It's just a regular old mechanized division. And I guess we'll throw them into Tobruk, maybe, to start. Because we do want to try to rush Africa while we can, if that's possible. Once the war starts. And then we get 513 infantries. And we're going to be picking the 4th, the 9th, the 8th, and the 1st. And I guess the Libyan division. We'll throw the Libyan division into Benghazi. And then everyone else will either stick on the French border a couple just to protect ourselves. And then the others will stick on the border with Egypt. And so